Hey YouTube, I want to talk about the Huntertown Kestrel Arms Suppressor line and some things that you can do so you can pretty much make it into a functional suppressor that doesn't suck. Pretty much how it kind of comes from the factory. So I started out with Huntertown Arms Suppressors. The dealer had them and I heard some good things about them, and I purchased all these 3 suppressors at the same time. Jumping to the end, if I had it to do over again, I definitely would not purchase a Huntertown Arms suppressor from the get-go because of some of the performance issues and stuff like that. So this over here is the Kestrel AK. The Kestrel 556. This is the Kestrel AK, and that is the Kestrel 308 over here. So I want to talk about probably the most useful thing that you can do is if your suppressor, especially the 556 version, isn't the updated version, you can send it back in and they'll upgrade it for you. I think it's like $150, but it's kind of worth it. They get a thicker baffle wall here, a new non-serialized portion of the suppressor, and it comes back a lot. This part of the suppressor is way more heavy duty. And a replaceable end cap, which is nice considering if you destroyed your end cap somehow, this is the only piece that you would have to replace. The baffle stack, as it came back after being upgraded, is pretty standard, and it sounds pretty good, which is why I haven't really, I haven't done any, I haven't clipped these baffles or done anything to it. They're all completely stock. So on the registered part of the receiver after it came back was shorter. In addition to making the blast chamber a little bit different dimensions, I believe it would accommodate a shorter barrel and higher pressure and temperature better. But it's to drill the back part of drill the back part of the registered portion of the suppressor right here and thread this, and I made just a little fastener to go in there, and then I basically, on the inside, whether it's on the Omni mount or this is the CF Gunworks QD mount, just make a little indentation for that fastener to screw into to prevent this inner part of the Omni mount from rotating at all when the suppressor is hot. That made all the difference in the world. So even if you're not going to do the quick disconnect version, I highly recommend adding a set screw there to prevent the suppressor, the Omni mounts, from backing off. I also added the CF Gunworks QD that's compatible with Yankee Hill mounts. Quick note on this is very high strength, high carbon steel, and the stock friction plates for the Yankee Hill suppressor mounts, this will just grind it into oblivion after about 10 uses. So you need to get the CF Gunworks friction plate to install on the Yankee Hill muzzle devices in order for that to work correctly. So since this Kestrel 556 sounded pretty good, like I said, I haven't messed with it at all. It's completely stock. Same basic setup with this Kestrel AK 762 here with the set screw and the Omni mount in the back, same thing, or the CF Gunworks QD mount. And when I got this suppressor back, I was really disappointed with how well it suppressed. Just really didn't live up to my expectations, even though they got rid of the old K-baffle design. The new baffles, which I'll throw a picture of, were really similar to this one, which is the one that's on the 308 Kestrel. And it just doesn't do a good job of suppressing pretty much anything less than a 16-inch 300 blackout. Doesn't work too well. So what I did after I kind of got inspired, looked at some Form 1 suppressor designs, and then Jim at Curtis Tactical, who manufactures suppressors, and he's over on Silencer Talk. I was in contact with him with an email, so really big shout out to Jim. Thank you for making this possible and giving me some great advice. But I looked at a bunch of different suppressor designs, and I decided to clip the baffles, and all 4 baffles in the baffle stack now look like this. So I took off this extra edge that was here and just kind of made it a stepped baffle on the top, and then added a clip to each one of the baffles. And I did that to all 4 baffles in this stack. Really made a big difference. Now the suppression level, even though this is a little suppressor for a 30 cal version, works pretty well on anything 10 inches and above. Like this will suppress my 10-inch 300 blackout, which is this guy over here, roughly to about the same sound to my ear as the Kestrel 556 will suppress an 11.5-inch 556, which I feel like both of those they're still pretty pretty loud, but I would say right around the threshold of hearing safe. So I would say that's hearing safe, which is pretty good. So that really upgraded that considerably. I'll go over how I accomplished this baffle clipping after I talk about the Kestrel 30 cal. The Kestrel, this is the Kestrel 308, which is what this is, the longer version. Pretty much the same designs when it came back from Kestrel or Huntertown Arms. Still didn't like the suppression. So this is what the stock baffles in the Kestrel 308 came back in. And basically the design of the Kestrel AK was real similar, but you can see this ledge here is just much thicker. I think that was in place to basically, this has a lot of material to get worn away before the suppressor is going to wear out. They anticipated the Kestrel AK taking much more of a beating. So you can see that my clip doesn't go all the way down past that, so I can still maintain a high degree of durability and an acceptable level of suppression with this guy. So what I did with the 308 is I ground these all the way down and added these 3 clips so that it's basically a modified cone baffle with clips in each symmetrical side, and that goes all the way down to the end. And now this suppressor's performance is on par with what I had expected in a standard 30 cal suppressor. I went ahead and left this baffle stock so I can basically use that as a blast baffle, since you can see there's not a lot of material that's left up here, and I don't really intend on rotating these. I've shot these 30 cal suppressors quite a bit more than my 5.56 has, and I don't know if you can see from the video, but there's just not nearly the amount of wear and tear on those 30 cal suppressors. As you can see, there's already some pretty decent erosion on the face of that 5.56. That's just that short 5.56 guns are just so hard on the suppressor. And these have seen quite a bit of supersonic use, even on my 8-inch 300 blackout barrel, which, of course, I guess it helps with the break, has really not caused as much wear to the baffles as I thought. So how I was able to achieve that is I take this 32 millimeter or inch and a quarter. It's for making holes and doors for door handles and stuff, and it happens to fit just perfectly onto the baffle. And then you can put that in your chuck, and you can use a file or whatever to kind of poor man's crappy version of a lathe. So you just turn down the edges of those baffles, and that's how I was able to accomplish that. So in the video coming up with the shooting portion, you're going to see some video of the old K baffles, the stock before they were sent off, and they'll be labeled with a text on the side of the video. And then you're going to see some of the shooting with it as it came back stock from Huntertown Arms, quote unquote upgraded, where the suppression still sucks. And then you're going to see it being shot after I have clipped the baffles and what it sounds like after that. So hopefully that'll give you an idea of how to possibly get your suppressor, if you are unfortunate enough to have a Huntertown Arms suppressor, to get it up and running where it's kind of a legitimate suppressor that actually does what a suppressor is designed to do. Especially with subsonic ammo, this night and day difference after clipping the baffles than before. This was hearing safe on subsonic, but just barely. It was still really loud. Now it sounds like a paintball gun. So you'll be able to see in the video. Or here's one without the steel. No steel.
Ready.
Yeah, I'd say that's, I'm hearing ringing a little bit.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
good.
much louder.
Press the trigger. Okay, just control the gun. Better. Not trigger.
So quiet.
There we go. That's like, we're like.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Nice. Ooh, just nicked it.